All right. How's everybody doing? Give me bear 1 second. Let me get everything set up here, and we're going to knock it out. All right. How's everybody doing? Give me bear 1 second. Let me get everything. All right, cool. There we go. Let's get this thing going. And perfect. All right. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. I know I say it every week, but we'll try to make this one short. I'll go through some of the stuff I'm looking at. If you guys got something you're looking at, definitely throw it in the chat, man. We'll take it. We'll definitely break it down and shoot, I might even look for an entry myself. So one of the things, just to kind of give you guys a recap, in my opinion, the last 3 weeks, market's just been very, very choppy. Not to say that there hasn't been some good plays to get into. I could just say that I really haven't had any big continuation plays. I'm still holding Euro JPY going on the second month now. I'm holding Chef JPY buys going on 3 weeks. And I'm holding a small little ACAT position if it hasn't taken me out already. But yeah, we'll go through it, kind of give you what I'm looking at, and ultimately we'll go from there. All right, let's dive into. Here we go. Let's dive into this. Bam, perfect. All right, here we go. Let's knock it off. I guess let me get out of crypto and let's go over to what we got going on here. Alrighty. So real quick, like I said, I'm still holding Chef JPY. I'm still holding EJ. I am looking for, and you know what? We'll start with that. We'll go DXY. I am looking for all dollar crosses. I'm looking for weakening in the dollar, and it's all going to stem from, using both the dollar index and what's going on with EU. So the point of interest that I'm really looking at on dollar index is really going to be this point right here. So if this falls, which I'm pretty confident it's going to, if this falls, we're going to get a lot of bearishness out of the dollar. The reason I'm assuming or speculating that this is going to fail is if you just look at how the dollar index has been dropping down, like we've just been making these really nice elongated legs. Price comes into the 3-day, rejects the 3-day, starts to get the pullback, and if this reaccumulation fails, I don't know if anyone's really peeped at the weekly on the DXY, but here's what we got. I mean, you've got your distribution on the weekly. Here's your climax, your test, your up thrust, your UTAD. UTAD breaks structure here, comes back into its own distribution, mitigates out of it, and I'm expecting this to just come down, right? So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at dollar index to take a big tumble. Especially those of you guys in the U.S. If you're not listening to business reports, the word inflation is definitely a hot topic. And it's I can see us coming into like the $80 range here. And then I'll tell you right now, I mean, we could even potentially, just looking at what the dollar's been doing over the years, if you just kind of follow the higher time frame legs, right? I mean, it ain't rocket science that we potentially could see an all-time low. All right. How long did it take me to become as technical as this? I mean, I've been trading for 3 years, so less than 3 years, I guess, is the answer. Yeah. All right. So with that being said, I'm looking for EU, GU, AU, NU buys, right? I mean, long term, that's what I'm looking at. And what, we could start with EU. Let's get right into EU. So this morning I was looking at some buys. I'm no longer looking at buys from here anymore. So we don't even need to look at that right now. But coming out of what, we've been seeing, EU has just been pumping up, right? We've just been seeing a lot of bullishness out of it. I personally haven't been able to really snag any buys off of my confirmations. So what ultimately we got here is we have a new high, right? We have a new leg high, which means this is what's maintaining on the lower time frame, right? This is that leg that pushed up. So for me, what I'm looking at is, well, what's the slingshot area? Well, this is the slingshot that created that push up. And in this schematic here is our extreme of the leg on the lower time frame. So any movement into these 2 points of interest is what I'm going to be looking to take higher. Going into New York session this morning, we were looking at what was happening, and I was looking for the continuation move. I'll tell you right now, I'm no longer looking for it, just simply because, I don't trust Asian session, so I'm pretty sure Asian session is going to take this out. But we did have our attempted distribution. You did see the pump down. We got actually, a nice little type 2 schematic in here. So our creek jumped the creek, and we did break structure right there. So I was looking for a quick move down to take it higher, but like I said, New York session kind of just was really dismal for me. Not a lot happened, and if you get down on the lower time frame, you'll actually see that there was a type 1 distribution in here. Here's your type 1. So I'm not really interested in trying to counter trend it. I'm not going to fight sellers. So that was your UTAD breaks, comes back in. So this was your first position to get into. And like I said, I don't know. I really don't want to do anything at these levels here. I'm just going to wait for price to come lower. And, I'll keep my eye on what actually is going on with EU, probably come lending crossover time. So if, for me, it's going to be like that 5 a.m. ish time frame. Once I see what's going on in there, I'll take a look. 5 a.m. that London opens up, gives it about 2 hours of time to really give its direction, and I'll kind of get a bias of what I'm going to do with it. So that's what I'm really looking on for EU. Like I'm continuing the buys, and more importantly, like we talked about DXY, but what can we look at, on the euro side? Well, if we come over and just go over to the daily, right? I know I've been talking about this for a very long time, but let's just put it on the table like this. Hold on. Okay. So we had this, right? We had this very large accumulation on Euro USD that pushed up. And then we had this distribution that gave this push down. However, we never really broke structure out of it. And when we were looking at sells at the end of last year and the beginning of the year, it was all off the basis of, okay, well, we were tapping into a supply point, which it's still a valid supply point, right? It's still a valid distribution. We had the 3 drives, but what did this distribution do? This distribution was unable to take out demand out of this reaccumulation. So essentially all we did was we tapped into the extreme of the leg. And just look at this movement that we're seeing. And let me just hide the drawings. So if we come up to the weekly, just look at these weekly candles, these weekly candles are showing a lot of strength. I'm pretty convinced that we're going to trade above this high here. So, I've got targets above like 126. What time do I trade New York indices? It opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So 9:30 is equities open. So I either need to position myself, I'd like to get into a position either before like 8:30, 8:15 in the morning, or I wait for after the market opens and then I'll catch a mitigation play off of it. So you see a reaccumulation off the 20-hour. Let me see, bro. Well, what's the difference between the 20-hour and the 24-hour? Yeah. Are you talking about like this big play right here? Yeah. I'm right there with you, bro. There's your creek. Yep. Yeah. And there's your distro. So yeah, I'm in full agreement. I see us going higher, bro. Absolutely. So the Forex market opens at 8. The New York Stock Exchange, like the equities market. So oil, gold, your commodities, your stocks, right? All of those, the futures market, those open at 9:30 in the morning. So the New York actual session for the New York Stock Exchange is 9:30 to 4. Yeah, to 4 p.m., 9:30 to 4 p.m. And then everything else outside of those are aftermarket hours. So yeah. So anyhow, on EU for me, it's pretty clear. You know, what I want to see is and again, I'm not going to try and counter trend this. I'm just gonna let it come either down to me, or if I wake up tomorrow and this sure enough reacts off of this and makes a new high, well, great. Then I know that essentially this is what's maintaining the lower time frame. And I'll look for the slingshot in here. We'll see if I can get a schematic in here or down in here, and then we'll just keep playing it up. So that's how I'm looking at EU. How would you differentiate reaccumulation and distribution? Well, you can't have a reaccumulation without a proper distribution. So distribution would happen first, and you know, essentially you need the two things, right? You need the break of structure and you need to jump across the creek to validate the reaccumulation. What's my thoughts on NASDAQ 100 right now? It looks like it's pulling back. Yeah. I mean, indices are, for me, indices are indices are a mess. There's really no true structure. I mean, you could scalp them, sure. I mean, I'm just not looking to try to take a lot of scalps with indices. I did try an S&P, and I'll go over my S&P buy this morning. I tried an S&P buy this morning, hit my break even, so it is what it is. But yeah. So EU, this is what I'm looking at. It's pretty simple. Slingshot area right here, and out of this extreme over here. How do you find the creek? You can just draw it, man. You just so as you get a distribution, right? As you get a distribution, the creek is just the trend line. You know, that's all it's signifying is that liquidity on a trend line. All right. So and then just flip it for ice. That's all it is. It's not. I mean, it's really nothing crazy. It's not. Just remember, you need a minimum of 3 drives, and then you want to see that push down. So typically you need 1 push up. You typically get that second push to create the trend line. You need 2 touches on that trend line. I see. Thank you. So more possibility of it continuing. Yeah. I mean, that's all. That's all it is just like on a distribution, right? Like if you get right? That's what the distribution ultimately is supposed to look like. Here's your UTAD. Oh, hold on. My bad. Hold on. I just dragged my screen down. And there we go. This is your UTAD. This is the test of the UTAD. All these are LPSYs. So you're just following, right? Price is just supposed to follow down that trend line. It's just following the order flow. So when you get that break, right? That jump across the creek, the jack, that's the first sign of a reaccumulation. And then what you ultimately need is the break of structure. So you get that break of structure and you play off the shakeout. So cool. Alrighty. So anyway, EU, pretty simple. That's what I'm looking at. All right. I'm looking at EU for that. USD CAD. Listen, someone needs to call USD CAD and needs to tell it to just come on back up to my limit order up here. So I don't, I made sure that it's a non-expiring limit order, but this essentially is now our new leg. I mean, you could see the legs, right? Patience is going to be the name of the game for this. If you kind of just follow and see what happens. So it took us 34 days, right? It took us 34 days to go from this low to this high. And, we're sitting at from this high already, we're at 19 days. So maybe another 2-3 weeks to get back up here. And that's where that's going to be sitting. So nothing more. We tried some USD CAD buys, a bunch of break evens, took a little bit of partials out of it, but nothing crazy. So I'm done trying to play the USD CAD buys. Like I said, I'm not looking for the counter trend moves, especially in the way the market's just been so choppy. I'll try to snag the continuation moves. But that's what I'm kind of looking at for that. Let's see here. Hold on. What do we have? On the active side, like I said, I am in this ACAD. We looked at ACAD today. Essentially what we were looking for was, this is what's maintaining higher time frame, right? This is that leg This is the slingshot area that price came into. It is an area of demand, right? How do we know it's an area of demand? Well, if we just look at all of the reaccumulation that occurred here, right? This was your distribution reaccumulation. Then we also have what? We have another reaccumulation that happens in here, another reaccumulation, oh, actually, not that one, another accumulation in here. And then ultimately we have this reaccumulation here. So this entire area is just an area of demand. So obviously when I started to see this intraday accumulation in here, it kind of got my focus. So we had our 1, 2, 3 drives, and then we get our spring. Inside of the spring, we get a fractal, right? We get a lower time frame schematic that starts to print in here. So coming into this area here, we have a bunch of preliminary supports, and then we get our trend, our trading range defined. So for me, this was a type 2. And out of this type 2, what do we get? Well, we got our type 2 into a reaccumulation. And, ultimately what I was looking at out of this reaccumulation was, well, what do we have in here? You have, again, your attempted distribution, pushing down, creating a type 1 schematic. This is your spring break structure. And then ultimately, this is the mitigation of the spring, right? So where I was looking, I had a split risk off the bottom and on the top. I was looking into this 1-minute candle just because there was some imbalance. And going down very low time frame, you can see the reaccumulation that occurs here, right? So you have your attempted distribution, right? 1, 2, 3 drives, and then so here's your trading range: climax, test, up thrust, creek, right? So this is your shakeout. So this is where I was looking to play off of. So I had a limit order set off of that. It triggers some, honestly, I didn't even look at the time that it triggered. I think it was pre-London. So it was like late Asian session. So bear with me here. Let me get back. Okay. So late Asian session, that's where I was looking. And you can kind of see what happened, right? So we ultimately break structure. This is the spring on the larger time frame. We break structure. So we're looking for those buys, right? Looking for those buys. And as price comes down into the point of interest, we get this during the end of, and I'll pause it right there. So we get this at the end of New York through Sydney into Asian, and essentially it builds its own, another schematic within it, right? We had multiple secondary tests. We get the push down. Inside of here was actually, and I personally didn't take this, but if you did, congrats, man. This was another micro schematic, right? We get ultimately on the, I guess maybe the 15-second be a cleaner view. So inside of there, and this is where my order was, right? My order was off 50% of that 1 minute. You get that micro schematic, 1, 2, 3 drives. We get the spring breaks the structure, comes back. And all I did was just measure the spring because you really don't have a candle at the lack of volume in this instrument. So 50% is where I would have looked at. It was like a 1 pip stop, this would have been the entry. And then from there off she went. So this definitely gave a lot of really good potential for entries. Again, this was my entry right here off the 50% of the 1 minute. My first partials, as soon as we broke out of this trading range, is where I just paid myself 10% right there. And then ultimately I was looking to take some more partials if we got back up here, which we never did. So you can kind of see what happened. Price comes back in. And this is where she's sitting. I'm at break even. Chances are this is going to hit break even, but this is kind of just falling apart. We do have ultimately a really ugly reaccumulation, but unless we really get some signs of bullishness, it's going to be kind of like a lost cause at this point. Everything, you can see how everything prior to this was really getting some really good price action, and we were getting the evidence of buying coming in. Not really seeing any evidence in here. So I'm letting ACAD do its thing. I'm at break even. I've taken the partials I was going to take, I've taken out. And, at this point, if we get up here, this is where I'm going to take my second partials. If not, I'll let it do its thing. Can you see, if you got a UJ chart, drop it. I personally don't have anything marked up on UJ. So US 30. Yeah. US 30 is a mess. I mean, I'm looking for buys on US 30, but she's got to come down like 1,000 points for me to look for buys. But we'll take a look at that. Chef JPY. Chef JPY was another one that we were looking at. Again, I am, I'm still holding the positions out of down here. So this thing has been great. I'm still in EJ, bro. Still in EJ. There's no reason to close out. There is no reason to close out. Like this position here at Chef JPY. Like, just look at the price action. Have we at any point have we broken lower time frame structure? And the answer is no. So I'll sit here at my, at one point I was 337 pips in profit. I'll sit here and just hold it. And at this point, you can see, what do we do? Well, we had a reaccumulation, right? That caused a new high. So I was looking in the slingshot area here, or I'm looking down here. What we were looking at here was pretty simple, right? We had a schematic in here. We had a little micro schematic, right? Off the 30-second. Price goes ahead and breaks order flow, comes back down into 50% of the candle, misses my order, and then gives a mitigation. So at this point, my order was deleted. Ultimately ran this. So because we've taken that low out, like this is dead for me. Like I'm waiting now for us to trade lower on Chef JPY, and I'll be looking down into ultimately this area over here. Hold on. Yeah, I'll be looking for us to come down into this area now here. So, and actually, I don't know where my alert went, but I'll set it right here. Yeah, so Chef JPY, same thing. I'm looking for buys on all the yen crosses, right? EJ is the same way. Yeah, I mean, again, there's no reason, right? There's nothing about price action that is telling me to close out of this buy from down here. So continue to holding it. I'm looking for some continuation moves. You could see out of this high up here. What do? We made a new high, right? Now it's not a higher time frame leg, but it's still of substance, right? So what I'd be looking for at this point is what created that high, and that high was created out of here. Well, we've already broken that. So now what I need to see us do is I want to see us trade back into this lower, like 1/3 into this area of accumulation where demand came in, and I'll see a schematic. If we can get a schematic up in this area right here, then I'll look to play. If we don't get a schematic in there, well, all right, then that's fine. I'll come back down into the higher, or not the higher time frame, but the intraday leg from this shakeout that caused this break. So EJ is just a waiting game. I'm going to sit here and watch it and let it do its thing. Yeah. Awesome. Good job, man. Yeah. There's no reason to close EJ. I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving, man. Every day it surprises me. Let's see. I had the order, but I deleted once we broke. Yeah. Can we look at GU? Yeah, we can. Yeah. I mean, I'll get to it. I think EU's cleaner, but yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're bullish on all, yeah, but the only problem is the dollar. The dollar, I think, is going to be, someone forgot to put the brakes on the dollar, or the dollar jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. So yeah, that's why it's on my secondary list. I'm in this trade right now. Oh, cool. Very good, man. What partial did I take? Yeah. So you're gonna have to tell me which pair that was on, bro. If it was EJ or if it was the one before that, Chef JPY. EOS is up 65%, bro. Crypto's on the move, man. My crypto portfolio is doing pretty good, man. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that's EJ. I'm just gonna be with it. Let it do its thing. All right. Let's look at. So I'm just gonna go down my list, and then we'll get into if you guys are looking at anything. So AJ, listen, it's taken, I think, 57 days, right? It's taken 57 days for us to finally break the damn high. So right from this high here to here, it's taken us 52 days. I misspoke. 52 days finally we broke the damn high. So it is what it is. You can see definitely our legs are very clearly defined. All of this stuff here, right? All of this stuff here was just noise, just a bunch of crappy noise. So, AJ has finally been promoted to the primary watch list. I'm really hoping that I didn't miss the trade this morning because it really didn't give an entry. But, coming out of this reaccumulation, we did have a small little like 15-minute reaccumulation right in here. And you can see we did get a reaction from it. This stupid thing came right to my damn alert into this 15-minute reaccumulation candle and then gave a reaction. So if I missed it, obviously, if we make a new high, right, then I'll be looking for something out of here to play off of. But I'm still going to be, ideally, I'm still looking for it to trade lower. Maybe we can get that Asian session fiasco to come down. And I want to trade into this area right here. Right. If we can get a schematic to come into here, this is where I'm going to be looking for AJ. This is my number one point of interest. Right. And I don't, obviously this isn't something I'm looking for tonight because it's taken 50 days to get up here, but this is the extreme of the leg. We did have an accumulation that happened in there. I definitely would be looking at the 47-minute candle, 80% of it, which lines up with the 50% of the 12 and the 11, which is also the 7654-minute open. So I'll tell you right now, I do have those credentials. I do have, I have the limit order ready. And I'll drop it in. It's a 7.5 pip stop, but just getting back up to the highs, you're talking about a 1 to 46. So I'll be setting that limit if we do break below all this stuff here. So I already have that set up. I'll let it do its thing. OddCAD. Yeah. So on OddCAD, I took 10%. Yeah, I took 10% so far. I just paid myself whatever I risked. So that way, at least it's a 1-for-1 that I've taken on it. Yeah. So that's AJ. That's what I'm looking for on AJ. Don't worry about this 54-minute thing. I'm not really looking at that. That was before. That was kind of with the anticipation that we were going to break this high. So, but yeah, this area right here is what I really want to get into and look for that schematic. All right. It's basically out of this reaccumulation, the slingshot that created this break of structure. Okay. Next is AU, and AU is pretty much the same, right? I'm looking for buys out of it. Looking from a intraday perspective, what do we do? Okay. So, well, we had this high that pushed in and broke this intraday push, right? Okay. So we were bearish on it. We were looking out of sells out of this slingshot that caused the push. We did get the distro, right? We got the distro. But then NFP kind of just jacked that up. And I don't see this as a UTAD. And the reason I don't see it as a UTAD is like when you really kind of just pay attention to the structure part of it. Okay. So we have our 3 drives, right? 3 drives. Those 3 drives pushed in a new low, right? So we've made a new low. At this point, we've broken structure. And if this was the UTAD, we would need to break structure again. And I just don't see that happening. So instead, what do we do? Well, we had our creek. So we've jumped the creek and we have a break of structure, and we've also invalidated the slingshot area. So for me, this is a confirmed reaccumulation. All right. So I am looking for buys. I'll be looking for buys out of my slingshot area right here. Or if we get down into the shakeout area, the extreme of this push, right, this intraday leg, I really haven't gone in other than the 15-minute candle. I mean, there's some other stuff. There's just really not a lot that I find at the exact price point. So it's one of those where I may split the risk, take it off the 15, and then just wait for the rest of the order to be triggered off of a schematic. But AU, again, I see the dollar just very, very weak. And ultimately, if you go up to the daily, right, I feel like this is just going to be a big reaccumulation, right? So we have ultimately same thing what we had on that intraday we have here, right? We have 1, 2, 3 drives. This is the low. We pushed in and made a new low. So realistically, we should not get a UTAD, right? This should be maintained. And as price comes in here, we should push down. And if that happens, great. So if we get in here and I get the buy, I'll be looking to see if there's possibly a hedge in here. But ultimately, I'll be looking to see if we can confirm this as a reaccumulation. All right. And if we do, great, because then I've got some higher targets up here that I want to trade out of. I want to take out this area of supply, and I mean, you can see there's really nothing stopping us until we get up into this area right here, this area of demand. Or, I'm sorry, this area of supply right here. Okay, so we're talking, I mean, from a potential of relatively 1,500 pips. There's nothing in here is going to stop us. It's going to be this supply point, and then after that supply point, like this is the next supply point that we're going to get into. So I see a lot of upside. Yeah, Sango, bro. I think AU is going to be. I think AU. What was it? 2 months ago that AU paid us just phenomenally. I think it was February, because February was my best month of the year so far. I think AU is going to be the one, man. AU is going to be the trade setups of the year. So yeah, we're just being patient with it. It's just going to be, make sure pull the trigger, like when you see the confirmations, you've got to pull the trigger on it. So I've got my alert set. Let this stupid thing just come on down. I can wait. Listen, I've waited weeks and weeks on trades. I'll wait for this sucker to come right back down in here. Give me a nice schematic and we go higher. So February AU gave us like 4 or 5 solid trades. So hold on, bear with me. The stupid dogs, man. If you guys haven't heard, so we found 3 kittens in my tool shed. So now we have 3 kittens, 3 dogs, a tortoise. I don't even know what else we have in this house, man. It's ridiculous. You can call it the barn. So yeah, AU is there. We're waiting on AU. Next on the list is GA. And GA, I'm just waiting. All right. I can tell you this, I'm still bullish on it, but, and the pig, bro, don't get me freaking started on this pig. Yeah. So, hold on. No, it's like we pig sit it. It's like a piglet from the farm that my kids like volunteer at. So they bring this thing home all the time. Yeah. Let's see. Do you place an order on the reaccumulation? Do I place an order on it? Well, there's nothing for me to take the trade off of yet. So, for me, I'm waiting for smaller time frame accumulation in those 2 areas. Yeah. So on GA, for me, this is what was maintaining the leg, right? This is that push. My extreme missed. I don't remember what was it. It was like 9 pips or 8 pips that we missed the extreme by. It was sitting right down here. So out of that push, like what happened, right? And this is where, for me, it's just about patience. Okay. So you could see the clean accumulation. All right. Did this accumulation and then into a reaccumulation, did that create at least a break of order flow? Because all this is order flow, right? No, we were unable to break order flow. And then what do? We distribute and push down into mitigating out of the demand zone, come back, mitigate out of the distro to push down, and now we're back in a distro. But you know what I see? I mean, I see all that supply and demand, right? But I see a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. Like I just see this going higher. So you could see I have an alert here and I have an alert here. And for the last, what was it? I would say the last like 3 weeks, maybe it's been longer. So the last 25 days, I've just been sitting here watching GA decide on what it's going to do. Obviously, if we break this order flow here, knock out bearish order flow from a higher time frame perspective, now this is what's going to maintain bullishness on the lower time frame. So I'll be looking for a play out of this area right here. But I need us to trade, what is it, like the 40 pips up, and then I'll be looking for positions to take up to that 1.85 level, right? But I'm not big on playing these little ping pong games. I mean, like there's no clear direction. And, this was a clean accumulation, but what did it do? Nothing, right? It never gave me anything. So you got to go back and understand cause and effect, like what did this do? And if it did nothing, then, for me, it's no play. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Sango, did you put the limit on the pound Swiss franc? Let me know if you put the limit order on. You didn't put the limit order on. Yeah, I forgot, bro. I forgot to put it on. Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's GA. I've got my alert up here. I want us to break this high right here. We break that high, and then ultimately this becomes what's maintaining that lower time frame. And I'll be looking for a play out of here, and we just walk this up. So yeah, pound CHF. This is what happens when it takes over 2.5 months to come into your extreme. So I'm not in this position. I journaled it. So what rank am I in IM? I may be I think I'm a P150, man. I think I'm a P1, or maybe I'm just, I don't know. I think the highest I ever got to was a P600. That was it though. That was it. So let's look at this, right? Pound Swiss franc. And I did journal this, and I'll tell you, I learned a little bit. I'll just share kind of my thoughts on pound Swiss franc. Nobody should have a question that this high gave this low, which then pushed into here, right? So this is the extreme of the leg. That's a rank that many people are seeing. Yeah. Yep. So this is what's maintaining higher time frame structure. And I personally got blinded a little bit, right? I got blinded by this schematic that kind of fell apart. And I totally forgot to set my limit order off of that. So when I went back and I back tested the entry, pretty much what I did was this. I came and I was like, all right, well, what the heck did I miss? So, and I definitely, I recommend that if you're not doing this, I'll tell you right now, this is what's going to make you a better trader. So coming into the 1 hour, what do we get? Right. Well, we get this nice 1 hour candle push down. Right. And if you don't see it, this on itself was a schematic 1, 2, 3, 4 drives, right? It's a type 2. But we have that 1 hour candle, 80% of that 1 hour candle. All right. So if we go down to the 30-minute, right? If we get down on the 30-minute, pretty much you can see that price has attempts the 50% push, right? So I was a little skeptical. I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll play it off the 80%, right? Okay, so then I started working it down, right? If I, I just started playing down some time frames, came in here, and I'm like, well, the 10 minutes been mitigated. All right, so what am I missing in this candle here? There's got to be something to play off of in that candle. And sure enough, when I get down to like the 5-minute, okay, well, we have a 5-minute candle in here. We have the 4-minute candle, that perfect, nice little candle. You could see 50%. We barely scraped that 50% of it. The 3-minute. And then I ask myself, well, is there reason to come in lower? And I don't know if I could get to the 2-minute now. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. So even the 2-minute candle, right? Same candle. This is what they need to come back to mitigate. So you could see that line right here. The stop loss was just below this wick. And when we fast forward to where price came into now, full like disclosure on this, I guarantee you I would not have been in this trade. And the reason I wouldn't have been into this trade is because when this came in, this was Friday at 8 a.m. New York session, right? And when price was right here was 4 p.m. Eastern. When price was sitting right there was 4 p.m. So this candle right here is the 4 p.m. candle. That's where the market closes, which was 7.5 pips from my entry. So there's no way I would have held a 7.5 pip buffer going into the weekend. So I would have probably closed out of this trade, and then you could see there was no reentry, whatsoever. So where price is currently sitting at, it was like at a 1 to 27. It's like at a 1 to 25 right now. So it's just another example of how the market specifically does crap like this right at closures. The spreads alone would not that on the buy you'd be protected because the spread alone would have increased, but it never would have triggered your stop loss. But just from a safety standpoint, like I don't want to put my account at risk with 7 pips. It's one thing if I'm up 40, 50 pips, then whatever, I'll hold over the weekend. But I'm not trying to do it like that, Yeah. So hold on, bear with me. I got to turn my light on. All right, cool. There we go. All right, sorry guys. What the hell? Why isn't my light going on? Bear with me. Hold on. Let me just put my little light on. Yeah. So that's pound CHF. Let's see. Cool. Do I build? Do I build no, I really don't. I don't. I kind of like just trading, man. Hold on, bear with me. Let me find my little app here to turn my light on in here. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'll tell you right now, without IM, I wouldn't be where I'm at. That's one thing's for sure. It definitely, it got me to the point to where I wanted the desire, and I knew where I needed to get to. I will tell you this, that, before I joined IM, I didn't even do stock trading. Like, I didn't know anything about trading. So it got me my foot in the door. It got me the basic information that I needed to learn. And then of course from there, I kind of went off the deep end and started doing stuff on my own. So, do I have videos on how to trade Wyckoff from the beginning? Yeah, just if you're on YouTube, just go into my YouTube channel, and just type in Wyckoff intro in my channel. There's like I don't even know what it is, like 3.5 hour video going through the basic stuff of it. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I said, I did learn a good significant portion of what I've grasp the basic concepts. And if you are an IM and you want to learn, definitely how I trade, I give mad props to Zach McDonald. Following him, he definitely gave me my initial start into Wyckoff. Jump on his Go Live. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern is when he goes on Go Live. Last week I filled in for him, so there's like maybe three sessions on there that I kind of broke down some stuff. I know I got a lot of good feedback from people that wanted my perspective on stuff. So you can definitely jump into him, but jump into his favorite sessions. So, he's the one that got me started on Wyckoff, and then from there I kind of went and did my own thing. So. All right, so going on, let's go GJ, right? GJ, same thing. Like I'm looking at these yen crosses. I'm looking for bullishness, right? We've been toying with GJ for a while. Does Zach have a YouTube channel? No, he doesn't have a YouTube channel. No. He used to have his own website, but it's no longer active. Yeah. So pretty much GJ, I mean, you could see, I've pretty much marked them out. You could see the legs, and inside of the extreme of the leg, what do we get? Well, we got a really nice schematic, and that schematic created a new high, right? So now the play for me is pretty simple. All right. Well, what created the new high? Well, it was this reaccumulation, and this is the extreme, right? So my first point of interest, we come into this box. I'm looking for a schematic to take this higher. GJ's one of the easiest plays, I think, right now. I mean, it's just a waiting game, but it's super simple. And just keep in mind, like, how long this stupid schematic took to break that high, right? 32 days. 32 days we were in this schematic to break this high. So we're not seeing the volatility like we saw last year. We're seeing a lot smaller daily ranges. So you got to prepare yourself for that, and, like I said at the beginning of this year, I wanted to take less trades. I wanted to be more pro trend. So when you're pro trend, you can essentially get into these positions and hold them for a long period of time. So yeah, there's the Wyckoff video, man. Thank you. Awesome, bro. Actually, here, hold on. Here we go. I'll drop it right there. There's the Wyckoff video. Thanks, Eric. There she goes. Yeah. Let's see. What's your percentage of buys versus sells? What do you mean percentage? Like, how many buys or like the number of trades? Is that what you're asking? So here, I'll tell you right now. Hold on. Let me look at my journal. So just this year alone, right? This year alone, I have taken a total of 81 trades. Now, it's not 81 positions because some of those are split. Like maybe I'll split the entry off the 50 and 80 or something. So 81 trades. I have taken 48 of them were buy positions. 33 of them were short positions. So 59% longs, 40% shorts. So I can tell you that off of my journal, my best thing that I trade is type 1 accumulations. Type 1 accumulations are number one. Number two are actually extreme entries, and number three are type 1 distributions. So yeah, I'm a big fan of type 1 accumulations. So I mean, it's given me a quite a bit of profits. All right. Yeah. Do I do mentorship? I mean, I do. Just yeah, I mean, just hit me up like on IG or just DM me on Discord or something like that. So but yeah, so GJ's there. I mean, it's pretty simple. We're looking at it. This is the first point of interest, the slingshot that created that pop, and then we're going to be looking down in here. And I don't know, again, training your eye, right? Can everyone see the type 1 schematic in here? Right? We could see the 1, 2, 3 drives, and then you get your spring, right? So what do we never get? We never got a test of that spring. So that's why I'm leaning more for price to come down here. But I'm going to give this a shot first, right? Yeah, so GJ's pretty simple, right? GJ's there. She looks good. And let's see, GU's the same too. Yeah. I mean, I've got GU. Like I said, EU for me is a little cleaner. You can see we definitely have, and don't worry about this right here because we have moved away from that stupid thing. So right now on GU, right, what do? Well, we've made a new high. Right, we've made a new high. Well, what caused that high? Well, the cause of that high came out of, and you can see my alert right here, came out of this reaccumulation right here. So if we get a schematic in here, I'll take it. And if not, you can see the accumulation that occurred right here, right? This is what's maintaining lower time frame structure. So I'll be looking to play off of that if we come lower into it. All right. Ideally, though, I mean, GU's just been massively bullish. We maintained, we traded not so much into the extreme that I wanted it to, but we still came into the point of interest, that reaccumulation demand zone. And then from there, what have we been doing, right? We've just been making higher highs, and higher highs, So ultimately, I see this coming higher, and, I'm bullish on GU. If you look at the weekly, I've been talking about us getting up into, I've been talking about us getting past into this area up here, like in the 150s, dollar, the 152, 156 area up here is where I'm looking at. So, I mean, we'll see how long it takes us to get up there. But, at the very minimum, this is an area that I think would give me some really good, points of interest to get into, and that's right around like the 1.46 level. All right. So, but for me, I'll tell you right now, like if it was a toss between GU and GJ, I'm definitely, I like GJ's structure, and I like the way that GJ's kind of built the schematics inside of it. So, screenshot, please. Screenshot what, man? Screenshot what? If you're on the computer, man, just like when I post the recording, you just screenshot it there, man. Yeah. Is your limit set at the 80% of the 15? No. You on what? On which one? On GJ? Yeah, no. I'm not setting a limit on this yet. Yeah. No, because we may not come all the way down in there, so I'm not going to miss it. If it all depends on how we get down there, right? If we come in down there and we start to build a schematic, I may just throw an order off of that, but I just don't know if we're going to come all the way down there. That 80% of the 15 was when we were in the schematic. Me playing off of the schematic. That's where I was looking to take the buy off of. So, all right, moving on. So NZD CAD, same kind of thing. I was looking at NZD CAD. I wanted to see, you can kind of see what's going on, right? Like this So this is what's maintaining, this is that leg, right? This is the leg that pushed up high. We're in the reaccumulation here. So, okay, now it's just a matter of seeing how we're going to play this out. One of the things I was looking at was we have obviously this schematic, right? We had a type 2. The only issue was this: we never pushed higher, right? Out of this schematic here, we never broke. So because we never broke, I really stopped paying attention to NZD-CAD and I traded ACAD because ACAD had the break, right? Like we are well within this trading lower, taking out this and creating a spring, right? If we get that spring, then I would need price to break here, come back to mitigate to go higher, right? So that's why NZD-CAD's still on my primary watch list. You can see I've got, this is how I set my alerts, right? I'm not going to sit here and babysit it. There's only two things I care about. Do we run these lows? I got an alert here. Or do we run these highs? I got an alert here. If we take the highs, all right, sounds great. Let it take the highs, give me a sign of strength, confirms this as a type 2, right? And then you can already see the area of demand. I'd be looking for price to come back in here, or if we have a reaccumulation into there to take it higher. And if not, all right, great. Spring it. Give me the spring. This is the high, right? Because if this is our new low, we have to look back. Well, what's the previous low? This one here, right? This is the high. Get the break of structure, come on down. We'll play it off and we'll go higher. But until we get that, I'm just going to be sitting here waiting on it. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yep. Thanks, bro. On Windows. And if you're using the better computer, like a Mac, yeah, all it is Option Command and the number 3 or the number 4. 3 will just screenshot it. 4, you can highlight what you're going to screenshot. Do you adjust the visibility on every markup yourself, or do you use templates for each time frame? So yeah, I do it myself. Like if I'm going to do, like when I set up, yeah, I don't have a template for each time frame. No. Like when I draw it up. So like this one here, like on the higher time frame, I'll have it set to, actually I don't need it on the seconds, but I'll have this one here from the 1 minute up to the 1 hour. Like I don't have it in on anything else. But then on this one here, right, you can see this one here is just 1 minute to 30 minute. Like I don't need to see it on the 1 hour. Yeah. So let's see. Does your intro to Wyckoff expose the difference between the types of schematics? I mean, I kind of touch on it. Yeah, I kind of touch on it. If you really want to learn more about the schematics, I definitely dive into Ruben Villamosa's book. The Wyckoff methodologies. I definitely type into that. And then Wyckoff 2.0 is his second book. So that's NCAD. That's what I'm looking on NCAD. NJ. So I definitely like AJ better. NJ I'm just using as kind of like a comparative divergence. I mean, when you look at NJ is still bullish. Like we've broken this high up here. So now, ultimately what's maintaining the leg, and it's this down here, right? That's what's maintaining the leg. I'm not a huge fan of NJ right now. I mean, this is kind of just slop. So AJ to me is so much cleaner, right? So much cleaner. So I like the price action in this, and I'll just let it play off of it. So I'll rather play AJ. I'll use NJ in a comparable divergence. And if it gives me that divergence, I'll know how to trade it. So that's, I mean, NJ, I'm looking for buys, but I just don't know where I want to look for the buys from, it's kind of just a mess. And then NU is one of the last ones I'm looking at, right? NU, just like AU, same thing. We have price that ultimately broke intraday here. Coming out of the intraday, this is the slingshot that broke the intraday, right? Well, what do? We traded above it. How do we trade above it? Well, we had a really ugly type 6 schematic, right? We got the ascending wedge coming out of it. We have a type 4 here distribution that created our creek, right? Created our creek, and what do? We broke the low, made a new low. So realistically, this should have been respected, right? We shouldn't have traded above that. And what do? We traded above that. So when we look at cause and effect, well, what created that high, right? Hold on. What created that high? Well, we created that high out of this SC area. So sure enough, we come into here, I'll be looking for a buy, right? And if not, I'll be looking out of the shakeout, right? This last push down that took out liquidity, ultimately that's where I'm going to be looking. So shout out to some of the guys in the group that found the 455-minute candle, lines up perfectly with the 15. So that's where I'm going to be looking, most voluminous candle, right? 455-minute. There she blows right there, right? That's the candle. So 80% of that lines up pretty nicely with 80% of the 15-minute, right? 80% of the 15-minute candle right there. So that's where I'm looking to play off of, yeah, that's a buy into the extreme of the daily for the sell. So here's the problem with that, right? Like I don't have any faith, right? I don't have any faith in the dollar. So did we break intraday? Yes. Are we bearish on the higher time frame? No, right? For me, we are still bullish, right? This was just intraday, so if we come up to the daily, much like AU, right? Much like AU, for me, this is going to turn into a reaccumulation, right? So I don't have it marked out, but you can see here's your creek, right? Here's your distro. That distro pushed in and took out the low. So we should respect this area right here, right? This should sell down. So if I do get into the buys, yeah, absolutely. I'll be looking for the hedge. I mean, it's just smart because I can say that I'm pretty confident that this is going to break the high all day long, but until it does, it's not fact. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to take out this high. I have no faith that the dollar, especially being in distro on the weekly, especially if we take out that reaccumulation area that caused us to get into the 3-day on the dollar. Yeah, I'm pretty confident we're going to go higher. So we've already jumped the creek where you could see the distribution here that ultimately I'm potentially seeing as a reaccumulation, and I see us going higher with it. So that's ultimately how I want to play. I'm going to get out of replay mode. There you go. So you could see the reaccumulation right here. I'll be looking to take this higher, and yeah, absolutely look for a hedge in there. So same thing with AU. Yeah. Exactly. I'm only going to take the sell if we get into the buy, just as a hedge. So just to protect it, and then we go from there. So, and then here we'll kind of get into S&P. So this morning I was looking at S&P. So this is what I was looking at. So from a lower time frame perspective, what do we have, right? You could see our legs, right? We made a new high. So this is what was respecting. Then we made a new high, meaning this is what was maintaining that lower time frame. So for bullish higher time frame, bullish intraday, bullish lower time frame, well, this is the first area I got to look for, right? So I found the 16-minute candle. That's what I wanted to play off of. So 16-minute candle lined up pretty nicely. This is the candle I played off of right here, 80% of the 16-minute. You could see price comes in, taps me, and then on the lower time frame, this was just managing the trade, right? So like off of like the 1 minute, what do we get? We get price to come in, tap, break the order flow, right? Because this is what's maintaining bearish order flow and lower time frame. We broke the order flow. So when we broke the order flow, I reduced my risk to the bottom of that wick. When we came and got that pullback and made that next move up, I went to break even. So I was up, I don't even know what I was up. I was up like maybe a 1 to, here it is right here, 1 to 7 on it. Was that? Yeah, 1 to 7. I was up 30 points on a 4-point risk. Not enough for me to take partials. You can see I was looking to take partials when we got up here. And then ultimately what happened? Break even, the big old fat break even. So, one of the things I will tell you, like just some advice from stuff that I have learned over the past couple of years is I know my journal tells me this, right? My journal tells me that I'm a 50% winning trader, right? I win anywhere between 50 and 60% of my trades. So if I take 10 trades, I know that 5 of them are going to be losers, right? So let's just say for all intents and purposes, let's say I risk $100 per trade, right? So I have these 5 trades are losers, right? These 5 trades Did I do 6? No, I did 5. These 5 trades are losers. Out of the other 5 trades, right, I know that 3 out of the 5 are going to be break evens, right? Because that's what my journal says. And I know that 2 of those are going to be actual ones that I can get wins out of. So these are really important to get because that's what's going to increase your R2R. But these are the most important in my opinion, because if I can reduce my risk on these, so perfect example, like on this S&P, where I took an entry and if it would have come back and hit my stop loss at a reduced risk, let's say instead of the $100, I only lost $50. How I look at this is I made $50 on this trade because I risked 100 and I only lost 50. So when I made the $50 out of a reduced risk, that actually goes in to my R2R, right? It increases my R2R, and that's how I look at it. So if out of these 5, if this one is a full boat loss, great. Okay, full boat loss. If this one here, I can get $90 loss, I save $10. I've made $10 on the trade, right? All of these, this is the most important thing to me, is how I can reduce my exposure in the market. And once you really start to grasp that these are important, but these are the ones that you really want to take care of, right? Those are the ones that if you can reduce the stupid trades, right? Like, for me, like bonehead trades, like why did I take that trade? If I can take that one trade and cancel it out, guess what? That's one of the 5 that I would have lost. So, and for me, a break even's a win. Well, why? Because I didn't lose any money on it. So at the end, when my, like I'll tell you right now, my average risk on my small account is $250, right? But my journal, my average loss is I think like $179 is my average loss. So that's telling me that I'm mitigating my exposure, which is causing me, my average trade is a 1 to 16 right now. Win, lose, or break even, 1 to 16, so that's what increases this number. And it may, the entire month of April, the entire month of April wasn't fantastic, but you know what? I still cleared 10% profit on it off 0.25% risks, and the way I did it was by minimizing my exposure, reducing my risks when I needed to, taking, partials often, partial out, partial often. That's how you got to play it. If you can partial out, especially when the market's doing this choppy crap, that's how you got to play it. That's how you have to play it. So, let's see, bro. What is the title of the Wyckoff books? Exactly, bro. There it is, man. Money saved, money earned. Absolutely, man. That's how you got to play it. Yeah, Wyckoff Methodology in Depth and Wyckoff 2.0. It's all by Ruben Villahermosa. So, yeah. Yeah. So S&P, I'll tell you right now, like S&P, when we're looking at S&P, this was some crappy price action, but you could still find the structure in there. Well, what did we just do? We just broke the structure on it. So like, I'm not immensely looking at buys out of it. Now we do have a distribution, right? Like if you just go up to the 4-hour, there's your distribution. Okay. If we see it, let me just clean it up here. Maybe it's a daily. Let me see the daily. What's the daily look like? Yeah, even the daily. So we do have a daily distribution, right? So we can come here and this is your distro, right? Let's identify our trading range. Well, this is your first change of character right here. Let me just clean this up. There you go. So here's our change of character. And our first change of character is our buying climax, right? Defines our change of character. Into our secondary test right down here. And I'll look in the 4-hour. Let me just see if this makes it really. Yeah, okay. That is a secondary test. So here's our climax. Here's our secondary test, right? Here's our UT. And then here's our UTAD, right? So we are in a distro, higher time frame. Ultimately, what do we get? We got the AR, and we do have a sign of weakness, right? So if you want to counter these counter trend, and it is on a higher time frame, so it makes sense, right? Get your MSAL. So we did break structure, right? Like for both purposes, like we've broken this out of the schematic. So I'm good going with that. Right? We did break that. And I'd be looking to at least take this down into this area down here, at least this reaccumulation that occurred right here. So we do have, like I said, we do have, and I'm going to screenshot this here. Let's see. And I haven't looked at U30 on the higher time frame. I don't know if it's in distro either, but we'll take a look at it. Let me just save that. Let's look. What's a 12-hour? Where's the daily? What's the 2-day? Is the 2-day the no? 3-day? What's the 4-day? How about the 5? Nope. Yeah, I mean, either way, I need a schematic just because I'm not risking 20 points on on the S&P. But what I'd be looking for is, I wonder, do we get a fractal in here? Hold on, let's see. Let's get down a lower time frame. No, this is all just a mess. All right, so like how I would be tackling this is let this bad boy come back up and look for the smaller time frame distro. Like this is when I would be looking on the lower time frame. So get up into this area here. Wait for lower time frame distro. So I'll watch it. I'll watch it in here. So if I get that lower time frame distro in there, that's where I'll be popping the orders in to take it lower. Should I be waiting for a bigger break of structure for a position like this, or is this the break of structure schematic enough for bullishness? Let me see, bro, what you got? So Odd Chef. All right, Odd Chef on the 1 hour. Odd Chef on the 1 hour. All right, so wait a minute. All right, I don't need to look at that. Here, we'll look at the, hold on, what's Odd Chef? So Odd Chef. So my only question is this. So Odd Chef has been sideways for 74 days. Essentially, it's been sideways because we're stuck between this high, right? And what's maintaining structure, right? Well, what's maintaining structure is this down here, right? So we haven't been able to push a high yet. Yeah, I mean, so what do I like? Some things that I notice out of Odd Chef. So you have a distribution here, right? You have another distribution here. You have an accumulation that gets taken out right here. You had an accumulation that gets taken out right here. You have this mitigation of supply that had the potential for a reaccumulation, but never broke structure. So ultimately, I would say that is a lower time frame distribution that pushed in a new low. And now you've got this that I would, if I was a betting man, I would say potentially you get something like this, a creek, and this turns into a redistro. Just by looking at what's going on here. Now, I could be wrong, but I personally wouldn't be waiting for buys until we finally break out of this 75-day sideways consolidation crap. Because right now, all I see is sellers in control. Not a lot of sellers because there's not a lot of volume coming into this because you could see we're not pushing anything. But if you just look at the facts, right, what do we see? Well, we see sellers, 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 sellers. What do? Push below the order flow. Then what do we see? We see sellers, sellers, sellers. And what do? Push below the order flow. So until they break that down here, like this is still bullish, But until we make a new high, that doesn't validate this as the high. So that's the only thing I see about Odd Chef. You know, I mean, it could work out. But I mean, just look at this 4 hour. I mean, you're sitting in this 4 hour thing here for 12 days with really no true break. You know, what did you have on the 1 hour? Wait a minute, where's that 1 hour? Yeah, I mean, all you've broken was order flow. You haven't broken any structure. Yeah, I mean, that's how I look at it, man. Yeah, like if it was me, I would be putting Odd Chef on my, well, here, I'd be putting Odd Chef on my secondary list, and I'd be focusing in on AJ and AU. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's how I would treat it. Because for me, there's not a lot of confidence. You know, it's not like this, right? We saw a lot of clear reaccumulation to take this higher, but we've just been stuck sideways here, you know. And like, if you're looking for the buy, I wouldn't look for the buy until, so if this broke the low, what maintained the order flow on that? And it's this. So at the very minimum, I would wait for us to break this order flow here before I start looking at buys. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. All right, let me get back here. Let me look at S&P one last time. So, all right, I've got my alert on S&P. I'll give this a shot to sell it down, because I mean, we do have, I mean, even if we get in here, just to come back down to here is 260 points, man. So I do like, I don't know if anybody else is looking at this as a distro, but I do like to sell out of it. That is pretty interesting to see. And let me just compare. Let's look at equities here. Let's look at US 30, see what US 30 is doing. Yeah, bro. See, and this is where you get the divergence, right? I mean, where S&P is in a distro, US 30 is in a reaccumulation. You know, what's NASDAQ doing? So NASDAQ, yeah, so NASDAQ's coming in, right? Like from a higher time frame, we had this high and then we created this high. This is the low that pushed out. You know, this is that really clean buy down here that I don't remember when we took this, but we took it a while ago. Yeah, this was the clean accumulation that we took out of here to go higher. You know, I see NASDAQ coming into this area of demand, this reaccumulation, and getting a position out. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, like, I would be waiting on NASDAQ. I would be waiting for this to get taken, right? This gets taken, then we're looking for some big sells. But because there's such a big divergence between S&P, US 30, and NASDAQ, like, I just don't know. Like, I would, for me, S&P is the cleaner one. I would look for the sell on S&P, but I need a lower time frame distribution in here. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how I'm going to play it. Yeah, US 30 was my favorite pair last year, and this year it's just been garbage. You know, I mean, just look at all this price action in here. You know, what do we notice, right? Out of all this madness, what do we see? Well, we see just a series of lower highs, right? We see bullish order flow. You know, remember, in bullish conditions, the highs aren't what matter. It's the lows, right? The lows are the most important thing in bullish conditions, and obviously the opposite in bearish conditions. Yeah. Yeah. So I would just be very, I'd be very cautious at how I'm trading US 30. I do see it, if anything, it's going to come into this push right here. You know, this is that reaccumulation. This is that last point before the move here. So this is truly what's kind of maintaining that lower time frame structure point. And it looks like, I mean, what's it doing now on lower time frame? Oh yeah, this is just typical Asian crap, man. I mean, look at this is all New York session, right? I mean, this was 10 o'clock. So this is market falls off and then finds a little bit of support area, I guess, off of something. And what are we doing? I mean, this is just nothing. This is garbage. Horrible price action. So, I was looking at it here. I was looking at it here this morning, but we just never got an accumulation. So no accumulation, no trade. I guess I'll delete that. So S&P, if I'm going to trade something, it's going to be S&P, and it's going to be sells out of the distro. So that's what I'll be looking at. Sells out of this area right here. So, I got my alert at like 42.10. We start trading up into like 42.20. That's where I'll be looking for the distro. And ideally I want a clean type 1. Really clean type 1 out of it. So, how often do you go live? Every Tuesday at 7 p.m., bro. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. And then on Sundays, the last couple of Sundays, it's been, well, this past Sunday was Mother's Day, so I couldn't jump on with Sam. And then I think the previous Sunday, I think Sam had some issues with his computer and I was traveling. So yeah, I'm in prime. Both my daughters are in prime volleyball mode. So, we're doing a lot of traveling, and Sundays is normally our travel day. So if I'm able to jump on Sundays with Sam, I do it, whether it's I'm at the airport or driving or at the hotel. But definitely after the end of June, then I'll be back on. But yeah, every Tuesday at 7. Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much it, man. That's my list. That's what I've got going on. Secondary list. This is just stuff that's out there in the middle of nowhere. A lot of the stuff I've got alerts on to see if we can break something, but like I know someone always asks me about gold. Listen, good. I mean, heck, this thing is. I'll tell you what, I'm just happy. I've been looking for buys. We finally took out supply that created this low. So now, right, we have this push here. This is what's maintaining lower time frame structure. So we come back, you can see I'm looking at accumulation out of this slingshot that crossed that. So if we come back down into there, I'll play it. Other than that, I'm not interested in trying to sell it from here. I'm pretty confident at this point, the way the economy is going, at least in the US, that we are going to trade back up into this distribution occurred up here. So we can get up into that distribution there. That's going to be something I'll be looking at. So, and that's, like I said, that's what I'm looking at. I know someone asked about UJ. Like I really don't have anything marked up on UJ. UJ, yeah, nothing. I couldn't. I mean, we've broken the intraday. That's all I can tell you. We're bearish on the intraday. And we're just in the middle of nowhere. So, if I was looking for buys, it'd probably be from down here. And yeah, that's about it. What's up, Yuri, man? What you got, bro? I've been waiting on that with my house sitting there on gold. Bro, listen, I haven't talked to any of the guys. Well, I wonder if Kevin or Nate are still holding this, bro, because this buy off the extreme, that 5-minute extreme, is sitting. What is it sitting at right now? I kick myself for not taking this trade, man, because I would still be holding this damn thing. This is at a 1 to 156. Yeah, 1 to 156. So if this stupid thing, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. UJ didn't give you a sell entry. Yeah, I mean, I don't even see a sell entry on UJ, to be honest, man. Like, I don't even know where I'd be. I mean, the only place I'd be looking, I was looking for a sell up here, but yeah, yeah, nothing about this is clean right now. Like this is just slop. It's noise. It's nothing that I want to be a part of. Yeah. Let's see. My thoughts on EG. Yeah, it's on my secondary list. I should give you my thoughts. It's here's my thoughts. So we had this distro back in the middle of April, and a lot of us were in this trade. And if you survived it, then congrats, you've been in this trade for going on 18 days at 100 pips. But if you didn't survive it, like I didn't, I closed out just because we were just sideways on it. Um, I'm waiting on one of two things. I either need, you can see my alert. I either need us to break this high, and if that's the case, then this is the slingshot, and then this is the extreme in this type 4, or I need us to make a new low and then try to decipher what in the world happened in here to try to get an entry off of here. So that's my thoughts on EG. Let's see what you got, bro. So on UJ, yeah, but my only question is, so out of, let's see, out of that, what are you, let's see. My question would be this: why is this your supply point? For me, this was the redistro. We traded above it with that. So we invalidated supply and then we sold off. But there really wasn't anything in here. Like this here, nothing that gives me evidence to say that that's the supply point. Is it a slingshot? Yeah, it could be the slingshot, absolutely. But I mean, look at this. There's no price action in here to tell me to sell it. You know. Yeah. So right here, that's where she sits. Secondary list. Yeah. EG was an annoying trade. Yeah. It was an annoying trade, bro. It just stood there. It didn't do anything. So yeah. So EG, like I'm right here. I'm just waiting. We're tucked away. Granted, I mean, what do? We just broke this low here. So order flow is back bearish. Um, I mean, we are still within the leg. So definitely some supply sitting here, and this is the slingshot that caused that push. So I would say that if you came back into here, sure, but if EG's your cup of choice, then great. But these right here look definitely cleaner than this. So I would rather focus in on these than try to use my magic 8 ball to figure out what the hell this thing wants to do. Yeah. I'm in for a buy for your. I'm in for a buy for your first thought. You're in for a buy off my first thought. What, on EG? Like you're actively in a buy on it, or you're looking to buy out of here? You're actively. What the heck did you take a buy off of? Like you got in the buy here? Yeah, I mean, if you got your chart, send me your chart. I'll take a look at it, bro. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Let's see. Are schematics able to be referred to as operational areas? So yes, within that box, within that schematic is your operational area. Yeah. So you got in. Oh wait, like you got in right here. You got in right here. Why'd you get in right here? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, so like what was your thought process on this one? Like why'd you get in? I mean, we just broke this low right here, right? We just broke this low. So it's showing bearish order flow. We're bearish on the higher time frame, definitely bearish on the lower time frame. Like what was your stop loss based off of, I guess, is the question. And like what, like you didn't even break structure. That's yeah, you like even off the 30-minute, I mean, you really don't have a structure break. I found a full volume candle on the lower time frame. Yeah, but what was the, like, what was your break of structure? Hold on, let's see. I mean, maybe I'm not seeing it. Hold on. You're still learning? Yeah, no worries, man. Listen, I hear you. I just don't like, even on the 5 minute, right? Let's look at this on the 5 minute. So immediately I'm drawn to this schematic in here, right? Okay. I see a schematic. But did this schematic break anything? And no, I mean, well, I mean, here's my first thing, right? My first thing is what would bring me to come to a lower time frame, right? Like what causes me to come lower time frame on EG? And for me, the answer is nothing, right? Like I'm, like if we pull up into here, then I have reason to go lower time frame. But staying on the higher time frame, like the intraday time frames, keeps me from getting tunnel vision. So do I have any reason to come lower time frame? No. I mean, right now, what are we seeing? We're seeing supply, and what is supply doing? Causing a low, causing a new low. So sellers are in control, right? The bears are pushing lower. And I mean, from like an order flow perspective, we're still pushing lower. We're still pushing lower. Like you can see push down. We never really broke that. All we did was kind of range during end of. So, yeah, bro, this is why EG is on my secondary list, because this range has been like this for an entire day and a half, just sideways. You caught the drop on this on EG? What did it distro or something? Where'd you catch it? Well, let me see, bro. Let's see what Sango caught, bro. What does Sango catch? What shenanigans? So you took it. So you caught in out of here, which was, what was the candle? 65 to, oh, it was a failed reaccumulation. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, I see. Okay, okay. You played it off of here. Yeah, this was the entry up here. 10 minute. Yeah, 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 yeah. I see it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. This price action right here just gave me, this crap right here just gave me a sour taste with EG, that I was willing to bench it and move it on down to the secondary list. You know, so just, because we had really clean price action with it coming into it, and yeah, but good, man, good catch, good catch. Let me know how it goes. Give me, like, send me a postcard in like 2 months. But when it gets down here in about 2 months, just let me know how it goes. uh, yeah, it's been stubborn, bro. It's been stubborn. So it's all good, man. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it. That's what I got. I'm still holding, like I said, I'm holding the three positions I got. ACAT, I'm pretty sure is going to hit break even. We'll see. Pretty sure she's going to hit break even. But who knows? Maybe we're going to get a little push up. But until we get any movement, I'm not looking to add any more positions out of it. How I convert my charts to PDFs. Um, how I convert my charts to PDFs. So I'm on a Mac. So Macs have a built-in PDF creator, if that makes sense. You're still waiting on EN, bro. You can have that EN, man. You can have that EN. The 70-minute looks pretty good, bro. 70-minute. I might have to, let me look at that, bro. 70-minute. Let's see, bro. 70-minute. Oh, I like that, bro. I like that candle. I like that candle. Hold on. I'll mark it up for now. There, I'll put, you know, with your luck though, it's going to come into this redistro right here and just fall off from there, but we'll see. You know what, here, we'll do like that. When she gets up there in like 3 weeks, I'll take a look at her. What do you got, bro? On you, chef. On you, chef. Hold on. Let's look at you, chef, bro. There's a reason the you, chef is on my bench. Now, let me figure out why. Why is you, chef on the bench? So, bro, this thing. You guys remember when we were looking for the sell out of this thing up here? We wanted to sell this thing down. What a little pain in the butt that was, man. Just didn't want to give it to us. And then this one here, I remember I was looking for the sell out of here. Just didn't want to give me the sell, man. Off the reaccumulation? No. Yeah, I'm not looking to take that. I'll look. How I change? Just type in the number. Like when you're on the screen, just type in the numbers, 45, 15. Like if you want to go to the daily, you know, 1D for a daily. If you need to go to the 15-hour 15H, right? 15H. If you want to go 30 seconds, 30S. Yeah, just type it in, bro. Why is it invalid? Because we're way too close. And yeah, like I'm not going to set a limit on it while I go to bed. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if I was going to watch price action, but it's one of those that I'm going to want to move. Like if you're going to be up, take it. And as soon as you get that mitigation point, reduce your risk and then go to break even as quick as you can with it, you know, but I'm planning on being in bed for it. So I'm looking for it to come a little lower. All right. So you, chef, let's see, hold on. Let's just look at you, chef, bro. So you, chef, what do we have? We have, all right. So what's the leg? The leg is now, hold on. All right. So we have, bro, look at these legs, bro. All right. So this is the extreme of that leg now on the, so we got that. So the only thing is this isn't the slingshot, right? This isn't the slingshot because this is where we broke, right? That's where we broke. So for me, this is the slingshot. The slingshot is right here, right? That's our slingshot. So the question is, what did this, I don't even know what you would call it, maybe like an ugly redistro? Let's see what the 5-minute looks like. This was probably like NFP. Was it the 7th? Yeah, it was NFP. Okay, so this is NFP. Yeah, I mean, you could see, right? You could see that we break coming into this. So what was the cause of the break? And the cause of the break was coming out of this area here. So I would be, yeah, I mean, if you get a lower time frame distro, okay, but I see it, I see the reason for it to come up higher in here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how I see it. And for me, lower time frame structure, this is still the leg. This is still the leg. Like this isn't, yeah, this isn't structure for me right here. And not even on the lower time frame. This is what's maintaining lower time frame structure. So, I mean, if you get the distro, it makes sense because this was the manipulation through NFP. If you get a distro, sure, you know, I would protect it as quick as you can or reduce your risk on it, but I'd be looking in here, right? This is where I'd be looking. This is the failed accumulation turned redistro that pushed down. That's how I look at it. On EU, is the break of structure wick valid? The break of structure wick. What? Yeah, you're gonna have to be like on my break of structure on EU. Let's see. On my break of structure. What time frame? Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait. Let's see. Um, like I double this. Well, let's see. What did I do here? We'll delete that one. That one looks better. Bro, why is it all doubled? I've been it's kind of been adding up. You think if EU is still in the reaccumulation during London, it could be a good buy? I mean, it could be. I mean, look how close we are to right now. So I'm not entirely convinced. I mean, you're 13 pips from it. So I'm not holding my breath on it. That's why I delete my order on it. You know, ideally I want it to push lower in here. So yeah, yeah. Especially if this happens during Asian, I mean, I could see, I could see something like this and then London Open taking out all this crap here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. On the 15-minute. So EU on the 15-minute. On the 15-minute. You talking about this wick right here? That wick right there? Yeah, I mean it for me it's a break of structure, right? Let's just see. I mean, we could check the volume on it. But oh yeah, no. I mean, we got a 1-minute candle closure in there. So yeah, for me, yeah. Now I did say that there is a type 1 distribution in here, right? I mean, this is your type 1. Here's your trading range, right? That's all of your stuff in here. There's your UTAD, break structure, comes back and mitigates. So it is a distro. Um, the true confirmation is going to be, well, can it break through this area right here? So, but this is something I would have played off of during New York this morning, and because we didn't get it coming back into it, like for me, this is off the table. Like I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'll see where EU is when I wake up in the morning, and then I'll start kind of game planning on what I'm gonna do with it. Yeah, there you go, bro. Asian delete tool. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You think the 94,600 level would be valid entry on AC right before break of structure? The 94,600 on AC. Well, I mean, I mean, in my opinion right now, there's no re-entry right now. So, you know, the like, here's the question, right? So price just creates an entire accumulation, right? Well, if the accumulation fails, what does that turn into? Turns into a redistro, right? So are they going to allow this redistro to happen only to to come 20 pips, right? 20 pips to go higher? No. I mean, if this fails, I think we're going to take out all of this. So like this for me is the mitigation. If they were going to take this higher, which the attempt was there, right? You could see them building the orders. This was all just building orders. But there just wasn't enough following. There wasn't enough interest to take this higher. So ultimately when you see a failed accumulation like this is them pulling the plug, right? When it just dies off, this is the plug getting pulled. And ultimately once this breaks here, yeah, this is going to be a redistro. So I'll just be waiting and seeing how we trade out of that. So, but yeah, no, there's no play for me out of here. Yeah. Typically this is just, I mean, and you know, it's entirely up to you, but typically when I see a schematic, because essentially what you're looking to do is play off of the spring, right? When I see a schematic, I want to see a schematic come in, test, and go higher. I don't want to see a schematic do this. right? I don't want to see a schematic do that, right? I don't need it to come in here after this failed accumulation. I would rather, I want to see it come back, mitigate, and go higher. This right here, a failed that doesn't give me a good feeling. So yeah. But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much all I got. Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, Yuri, bro, that's why gold right there, bro. Demoted, secondary list. Demoted. So EOS, bro, don't even get me started. I know my brother's in EOS early, man. He got into EOS really early. Let's see. Where is EOS? So maybe I don't even have EOS on here. Why don't I have, well, I know I don't own EOS. So, what's she doing? Yeah, look at that, bro. Look at that clean. Look at this clean distro into a reaccumulation, man. Look at that. You got your distro into the reaccumulation, shake out, pop, break the new high. You got in yesterday at 9. Oh, good, man. What are you up? You're up like, you're up 50% right now. Engine, yeah, bro. I'll tell you right now, I'm buying this sucker. I'm holding. Engine's a really good Ethereum based NFT coin. So I am buying the crap out of this. You can see all the purchases I've been on. So this is one of those that I'm waiting for a while with. Anchor, if you guys haven't picked up Anchor, Anchor was at a really good point. You could see I had was it yesterday? I bought at 15. So yeah, definitely some good positions out of Anchor. This one here, man, was the cake. 50% of that 4 hour in there. Crypto. So I use crypto.com, but most of my holdings is in Coinbase Pro. So Coinbase Pro is where I hold most of it. And then I use MetaMask for all of my like NFT stuff. I'll do the swap from Ethereum on that. Yeah, but yeah, so this is everything with the purple is everything I'm currently holding. And what I've been doing, I've been just swapping BTC and Ethereum for a lot of the other stuff because I bought BTC back last March when we were at 3,600. So I'm in from down here. And Ethereum, I'm in from like 588 or something like that, wherever it's at. Yeah, 558.73 is where I bought Ethereum out of the reaccumulation. So, I mean, look at this thing. This thing is just popping. I'm up over 600% on Ethereum. XLM, if you guys are in Stellar, listen, we finally popped. So I'm up 100% from the buys I caught last week, 100% on it already. So, you could see I've got buy areas sitting out of this slingshot area that broke the high. I'm hoping this wasn't the mitigation here, but we'll see. I'm looking at like the 50-cent mark. You're looking at XRP. Yeah, the only thing is Coinbase Pro still doesn't allow me to buy more XRP, but if it comes down to 50 cents, I'll take it. Uni was another one. So I don't know if you got, look at Uni, bro. Look at Uni. So I caught Uni. We were looking at this, and what am I up right now? I'm probably only like 16%, but this was a beautiful entry. So I took 2 entries out of the slingshot here, and then out of this one here, the reaccumulation that mitigated the imbalance out of the accumulation here. So you can see we just made a high. I'm waiting now. Actually, I guess I can move this up, and we make a new high, and I'll be looking for another pullback to get into it. So yeah, but these, I mean, we're getting some good moves on these. What was the other one? Bro, comp has just been a monster. Comp, I got into comp, went back in like June or January. Where did I get into comp? Yeah, January 21st, bought comp at 166, and this thing is just not giving anything back. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it. ADA, I'll tell you right now, Cardano. For me, Cardano confirmed a reaccumulation. So I bought in here on the 23rd. I am going to be looking in this slingshot that caused the break, and then obviously down in here for some more buys. So like around $1.30, $1.35, and then down into the low $1. I'll be looking for some more buys. my original entry back from like, I don't know, like last year was way down here. So I sold what I had. I sold what I had in here, and just out of, seeing if this was going to be a distro, and if not, great. We break the high when it comes back in. I'll redo it. What confirmed the buy? So we have our three drives, right? We have one, two, three. And what happened? Well, we broke structure here, which is fine, no biggie. And what we should have done was we should have created the UTAT. But instead, what do? We took out and exited the trading range, right? So essentially what we've done is we've broken, this is the MSAL, right? The major sign of weakness. And price should have respected this UT, right? What do we have? We had the exit of the trading range with this major sign of weakness, and we had the break of structure. So for me, this is the creek, and now we've essentially jumped the creek and broken structure. So, I'm going to be, this is the slingshot area, and then this is the mitigation of the shakeout. So these are the two areas I'm going to be looking for buys on Cardano. So yeah. When it comes back down, I'm going to buy. Yeah. So that's all I'm doing. What I sold here, I'm going to reinvest back down in here. So I'm still good with it. Yeah, because it didn't jack or break a structure before you bought. It didn't jack or break a structure before I bought. Oh, you're talking about here off this buy? Yeah. No. All I did was, so I bought a little bit in here. I sold, you can see my mark. I sold on the 26th, all of my positions. So all I did was I bought here in anticipation to see if this was going to confirm the reaccumulation. So yeah. No. I sold all my positions. I got in. I don't even know what my average was. I got in when this was pennies, like a year and a half ago. So yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's all it was. So, but yeah, that's all she wrote. That's all I got for tonight. Hopefully you guys, hopefully I gave you guys some info, man, and you guys are good with it. Other than that, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna grab me. I think my wife made some tacos. Gonna eat some tacos and call it a night. I'll be up for New York session, so maybe even get up a little early, man. So awesome, guys. Thank you very much, and I will catch you guys later, man. Have a good one.